Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Fan Frenzy podcast. I'm your host, Chris Borgia, alongside co-hosts Ben Lobbin, Gabe Lade, and Jake Holzhauer. We're going
Tighten
along
up.
with our football episodes that we've been doing recently. Obviously, it's the biggest sport at the moment besides baseball playoffs that we got coming up, which we will be touching base on next week. Obviously, I always do our news segment. So, some news that I got is we'll start off with a little bit of sad stuff, then we'll move into like some fun stuff. Unfortunately, we have the news of Brett Favre coming out and stating that he has Parkinson's disease, which is very, very, very unfortunate. My grandfather had it. It's not something to be joked about or anything like that. So let's just hope that he can get the best care that he needs for that. Next up, Dan Campbell recently sold his house, guys. I don't know if you guys saw the backstory behind it was, I guess his daughter got in like an argument or something with another girl at school, and the girl proceeded to leak their address. So people showed up to Dan Campbell's house,
No, the
and
story gets crazier, Chris. I saw this
he
today.
didn't like it and
I
stuff like
don't
that.
know if
Yeah,
you
add
saw
on to it.
this.
Go for it.
I don't know if you saw this. I got this alert. I forget what app it was from. Apparently, some kid in their class, I don't even know if it was like if
I
they
know
got
what
an
you're talking
argument
about.
with his daughter or whoever it was, but some kid in his class went on Snapchat and said, "This guy's like I don't think I could say the name because we don't curse on this, but." It said something about Dan Campbell and how it was stupid that he went for on a fourth down. I forget which fourth down it must have been, but then proceeded to leak his address. So I'm sure they were sent to the principal's office for that.
It's not like they didn't win the game
Yeah,
though.
exactly. And that's
Which
their MO
made no
too.
sense.
Like, and that's their MO. Like, if you're a
Um,
Lions fan, you know you're going for it on fourth down. Like, that's what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going for it on 4th and 15.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
aside, congrats to Damar Hamlin for getting his first interception of his career after a very heartwarming comeback story
On
to
Monday
the
Night
league.
Football too. He did it on
Yeah,
Monday Night
on
Football.
on a Monday Night Football that I
So good for
cannot wait to talk about. I cannot wait to talk about that one. And the last news that I got on here is two of my favorite Philly teams both clinched playoff berths last night. Obviously, the NL East runs through Philadelphia. That's obvious. And as you can see, I'm dripped out with my Union. They clinched the playoff spot last night. I was very excited about that. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I
Guess who
got.
else
Anybody
clinched?
else got any other
Guess
news?
who else clinched? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We
No one
clinched
cares about the
playoffs.
Yankees.
One more game. If they beat the Orioles tonight, we're recording this Wednesday or Tuesday, September 24th. They win because they're facing the Orioles. So one more
Let's
magic
go
numbers
O's.
one.
Let's go O's.
Yeah,
I honestly
agree.
no. I want them to win because as a Yankees fan, if we get the first round bye, I don't think we make it to the World Series. I think our best chance is to play every series because we need
Listen,
that
all I'm gonna
experience.
tell you, Jake, enjoy these last little bit of games you got left with Juan Soto before he joins Gabe's team.
I hope not.
Yeah.
Gabe doesn't even need
Enjoy,
him.
enjoy that.
Gabe doesn't even need him anymore. They're making the playoffs.
Enjoy that last minute.
Listen, he sees some dominance in the
games
second
on.
half of the season. He's like, I want a team that wins in the postseason. Recently, that wins in the postseason.
Anybody
recently.
else got any news?
You guys are battling for the number 1 seed too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
with the
Yep.
Brewers, which the Brewers is a very surprising one, was not expecting them
No,
to
it was Dodgers.
do good. Brewers have number 1 seed right now.
I thought it was Dodgers. No.
No, it's I
Yeah,
have it right here.
it-
The Dodgers and the Phillies are tied. Or no, the Dodgers
yeah.
are ahead by
Really?
half a game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Dodgers play the Padres, which is a really rough
the
series
Padres-
because
and
the
if the
Padres are
Padres sweep-
fighting for that division. So that's gonna be a rough series. Meanwhile, we got the Cubs. So
Yes.
I
but
believe
we have
we'll- I
Tanner-
believe
we have a
we'll beat up
reliever
on the
starting
Cubs.
today because everybody's drunk. So
You just
Yeah,
gotta hope.
Tanner
hungover,
Banks. Yeah, you know
Tanner
what?
Banks is
Good
back.
good point that you brought up, Ben. I wish I went to Xfinity Live last night. Brandon Marsh was having a blast on the bowl.
Yeah.
Garrett Stubbs was going crazy for usual. Schwarber, it looked like a blast.
All I will
Um,
say is last year at the last year after we clinched, the day after Garrett Stubbs also started and he hit a home run. So just saying.
All I'm gonna ask though, I got a question specifically for you, Ben.
Mhm.
Are you with or against Dancing on My Own? They were playing it last night.
I think it needs to be retired. I'm going to be honest. I think it needs to be retired. I think they need a
Alright.
new song to bring them all the way this time.
All right, cool. Moving on, our fantasy football recap. And I can tell you, I had a blast this week. I might as well start it off because it was a lot of fun for me.
Buddy wins 1 week. Buddy wins 1 week and he's all happy.
So I played against Gabe this week. I won 157 to 109. And last night there was a little bit of banter in the group chat because Gabe was texting me saying, "Yo, stop spamming me with taunts."
Listen,
because I
it's
saved up.
bad that he scores like the most
I
points in the league.
saved up
It's
all
even
my
worse that he just spams
touchdowns.
my phone.
I saved up 7 touchdowns and proceeded to hit him with all of them at the same time, and it was hilarious. It was so worth it. To give a little bit of context, though, my star quarterback, the dude who's better than Caleb Williams, that I'm going to be touching base on even more in a little bit. Like I said, Jake even complimented me on that take last night. Jaden Daniels was him. I've said that before. Jaden Daniels was him. He had 28, 33 from Saquon. Gabe knows how Saquon rolls. Aaron Jones killed it. Diggs. Thanks, Ben, for the extra 10 points from George Pickens since he decided to drop him. And DK Metcalf did good too. Travis Kelce, you still suck. You're proving my point that you'll never touch Gronk. Yes, that's my fantasy week. Gabe, how are you feeling on the other side?
Still have a good record at 2-1. I'm not too scared. We just had a bad week, and it's like that sometimes, I'm still 3-0 in my other league. The Giants won. The Mets beat the Phillies in the series.
You don't want to know. You don't
I would
want to know my
sacrifice
other
one
league.
fantasy football loss for that.
You don't want to know my other league. You don't want to know. I had 3, bro. Can I just tell you my starting lineup real quick so you could feel my pain in my
It's gonna
other
be like
league?
Sam Eagles, man.
No, bro, it's so
It's
bad.
going to be all Eagles.
I decided, Joe Burrow was doing bad. I'll throw Baker Mayfield in. He was bad this week.
Yeah, he was.
Derrick Henry played good. Josh Jacobs was bad this week. Stephon Diggs was fine. I'm down so many players, and this is a 14-man league, so it's really rough. So, because I have a lot of guys hurt. So Allen Lazard was my wide receiver too. But
he didn't even play bad, did he?
No, he didn't. He had 13.8, but then I had Zach Ertz with 8.
He played good.
Which
8,
is okay.
fine.
Adam Thielen had 13, and then Jamal Williams as a flex spot had 0.9. And then the Falcons defense had 2, and then Cameron Dicker had 4. Ooh. So that's on top of Keenan Allen, AJ Brown, TJ Hockenson, and Chubb all hurt.
Wow.
Can we talk about how bad the tight ends have been this year? Like, it can't just be me, right?
Dallas Goedert. Dallas
LA.
Goedert's number 1, and he isn't.
Dallas Goedert and Brock Bowers are carrying teams right now.
Well, Dallas Goedert had one good week. The other 2 weeks did nothing.
You said and who? You said and who, Gabe?
Jake.
What?
Wait, was it him?
I didn't say none.
I don't know.
That's my point. There's nobody else. There's nobody else. Once you go below those two, like there's nothing.
There's nothing.
All right.
Cole Kmet decided to have a blast of a game after I dropped him. 25 fantasy points. Yeah, it makes sense. Running a double tight end scheme didn't make any sense to me at all.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna talk about my game. I will say, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I got a little bit lucky that Sean's team decided they were not going to be good this week. But I think in general,
Sean's got a good roster. Sean's got a good roster.
In general, no. In general, though, I feel like this past week was like a low-scoring week. I was low-scoring in both my leagues. I don't even want to talk about how in my other league, my opponent picked up Juwan Jennings on Wednesday.
Yeah, I went up against Juwan Jennings this week in my main league too. I lost by practically 70.
But I do want to say my bench is looking disgusting in our league, like so good. I have so many good players. I just have like Jaden Reed, who's a top 10 receiver in fantasy on my bench. I have Rome Dunze, who went off this week. I have Chris Olave, who went off this week. I got Jalen Waddle. I got Zach Charbonnet, who's been the 8th best
I have a
running back in
question,
fantasy for some
Ben, I
reason.
have a question on your team.
Yeah,
Why are we benching Derrick Henry over Brian Robinson?
that was just
I agree there.
that was just a matchup thing.
Okay.
That was just a
Maybe you
matchup
should have benched Likely.
Well, I don't have another tight
But
end.
who? Yeah,
David
Parkinson.
Njoku's hurt. Once David Njoku comes back, then that position should be filled. But
I mean,
At least you
Likely
took
still,
the dub.
and Likely still scored more points than Andrews.
yeah,
So.
low key, my team is like really solid. I mean, I'm open to trading like as a guy like a Derrick Henry because I have Zach Charbonnet, who I kind of want to start because he's been really good.
If Walker
Forever.
continues to be hurt, then yeah, definitely.
I'll definitely
Yeah.
talk to you about Derrick Henry.
I go into my team, and we could talk trades afterwards real quick. But unfortunately, in
No,
our
we'll
league,
talk trades off the pod because of time.
all right. Unfortunately, I scored the second least amount of points this week, which sucks.
You act like you didn't win though.
But I faced the team that scored the least amount of points. Patty, your team sucks, dude. Oh
His
my
whole team's
God.
hurt,
Your
bro.
team I do not
His
care.
whole team
That
is
is
hurt.
not my problem. I didn't have
Yeah,
Debo.
yeah. To give
Or
some
I don't have Nick
input,
Chubb.
as this dude saying his team sucks. He has no Puka, no Amari,
I don't
no
have
Christian
Debo.
McCaffrey, no Joshua Palmer, and no TJ Hawkinson.
I don't
all on
care.
his team.
Don't care. And on my side, Mark Andrews didn't even get a catch. I
Bro,
scored 88 points.
listen.
He scored
Listen,
83.
we're talking about the same guy who's stuck having to start Kyle Pitts every week.
He chose Kyle Pitts as his tight end.
Kyle Pitts
Well,
is solid, bro.
And he's solid, yeah.
Kyle Pitts is
Um,
tight end 10. Like that's not that
The
bad.
Cowboys gave me -6 points. So actually I would have scored more if I started literally any other defense. And Kaime Fairbairn. I had 3 players / defense that scored 0 or gave me negative points this week, and I still won.
Wow.
And
Well,
on my bench, I had Dallas Goedert and Deontay Johnson, who both scored 20, and Zach Moss, all scored 20 points.
Deontay Johnson had a good game.
You should see my
Andy
other
Dalton's him.
my other league. My bench had 115 points, and I
Yeah,
scored like
and-
80.
Damn. Speaking of my other league, I scored the most amount of fantasy points, which is awesome. This is the first week where I went 2-0 for both leagues, and funny enough, in that league, I traded CeeDee Lamb straight up for CMC, and a bunch of people were like, pretty iffy about it. Like, some people told me yes, some people told me no about it, but then I destroyed the guy that I traded CeeDee Lamb to. So I think it was a pretty good trade so far. CMC has yet to play, but I think my team is good without him.
Well, moving on from there, I'm going to start us off going in the next segment because mine's just so worth it. It's just so unbelievably worth it. It's our player of the weeks. And mine's definitely a great one. And I wanted to, before I get into this, I want to give a quick shout out. I proceeded to upload 3 articles today on the website. So go check them out, especially because one of them has to deal with a player that has to do with my player of the week, but isn't my player of the week. Now, moving into it, my player of the week is none other than my guy, CJ Gardner-Johnson.
Bro,
Now, you
how are
may
gonna do
ask.
this?
You may ask, why?
Yes, why?
He came out with a statement today against the guy that I wrote an article about today, other well known as Micah Parsons. And CJ came out with an absolute bomb of a tweet
You can turn it around.
to read it off, and I quote, "Fam, the league knows who I am. In parentheses, forget the narrative at Micah Parsons, exclamation point. You could check my track record and how I overcame a lot. Won a lot more playoff games than you too, my guy," with the emoji like that. Wow.
Can I just
Taking
say-
shots at Micah Parsons is just so beautiful because he's going to understand one day. And if you go read the article, you'll know why. Micah Parsons is going to understand one day when him and CJ are best friends playing on the same team. It's going to be beautiful.
Can I just say something about CJ Gardner-Johnson?
Go for it.
Bro, he talks so much.
That's why I love him.
I know, and honestly, he seems like your type of player. but it's like my friend. So my high school friend, his name's Gavin. He's a big Eagles fan because all my friends from high school are Eagles fans. I grew up in Bucks County, and I text him back and forth during every single football game, and um, me and him both called him the Dylan Brooks of football because it's like he will keep
that's
talking.
fair.
He will keep talking, but the funny quote from Dylan Brooks is, "Drop 40 on me till I I'll respect you until I drop 40 on me," or something like that. And this is funny. He's a hardcore like he's an Eagles fan until he dies. But he literally texted me yesterday because CJ Johnson got stiff armed. He got stiff armed during the game and he started talking. And then my friend Gavin goes, CJ needs to shut the bleep up because you guys were losing at that time. So I don't know if everyone's happy with CJ, but I mean
Listen,
you are. So
I'll put it to you this way. It's one thing when Sirianni opens his mouth and is sitting on the sidelines just yapping off. It's another thing when CJ talks and makes good plays. It's a big difference.
Yeah, but remember that play where they thought it was an interception, so he kept like fighting for the ball.
Yeah.
I think that was too much. That was too much at that point.
I see where you're coming from.
They didn't blow the whistle, but like he was down. Like he was
I see where you're coming from.
I mean, if we're gonna talk about dirty plays, what about the hit on Smitty? Like, what was that? How was that?
Yeah,
number one, how was that not a penalty? Number one, how's that not a penalty? Because the whistle already went.
We'll talk more about that. We'll talk more about that on the review for the third week. Who wants to go next for Player of the Week? Jake?
Oh, my hand went up first, Ben. My hand went up first. I just
better not take mine.
I'm calling Jake.
Ben, is it a college football player by any chance?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Does he play for the Temple Owls?
Oh, no.
Yes.
Do you have another one? Because if you have another one, I'll switch.
I can find one. I'll find one.
No, honestly, I think no. Honestly, I'll give you yours back because I have another really good one that I hope no one goes.
Is he doing it for a fifth straight week?
So no, I'm not going for a fifth straight week. I'm going with probably one of the best MLB seasons we have ever seen. It's Shohei Ohtani. 50
Respected.
50 home runs, 50 stolen bases. He is the first ever player in MLB history to, one, hit 50-50, and two, have 50 home runs and over 10 stolen bases, which is insane that 10 stolen bases is the mark. But I saw a video where it was like showing every 50 home run season, and the next best guy was Barry Bonds, and he got like 9 or 10 that year because that's when he started slowing down and started bulking up more. So Shohei Ohtani is, I want to call, the best athlete the world has ever seen because I don't think anyone else in the history of sports could be doing what he's doing.
I got a perfect question for you, but before I forget, now that you just clicked it into my head when you were talking about baseball, I forgot to mention, congrats on Charlie Blackmon's retirement.
Oh, yeah.
He was the longest tenured player on a team, and now it's Mike Trout. Still with the Angels since he debuted in 2011, which is wild. He should have been off the team 5 years ago.
I have a question for you, Chris.
Go for it.
Do you think the Rockies retire his number? I want to say yes. 14 years. They never won anything, but they also never won anything ever. So I think their bar is lower. So I think
yes, but only because they don't really have a significant history within their ballpark.
I want to say he's a top 5 Rocky of all time because number 1 and number 2 are obviously like Larry Walker,
Todd Helton, and Larry Walker.
Exactly, and then I can't name number 3 off the top of my head. So I think
Nolan Arenado is.
I'd say
Nolan Arenado.
You could say that, but at the same time, Nolan Arenado has won literally one playoff game his whole entire career, and it was with the Rockies.
Yeah,
he has not won a single playoff game.
But Nolan Arenado is probably.
Yeah, but at that point, you could say the same thing for Trevor Story, but I would.
No, but Nolan Arenado is probably going to be a Hall of Famer. Like he's one of the best.
He's
the best.
He will be, but I don't think we could call him top 3 on the Rockies. I don't know. There's probably other guys we're forgetting about.
Yeah. I don't know if they have a pitcher. Do they have a pitcher somewhere? I feel like they don't.
Probably not.
No. to pin a question on you there, Jake.
Yeah.
by the end of his career, Shohei gonna be the GOAT?
No,
Yes.
but
Yes. I'm gonna
I
call
think
it right now. Why not, Ben? That's what I want to ask. Why not?
here's okay. I'll go. Why not? I think he's not going to play that much, like that long. Like I think, first of all, he's not going to play both ways that long. Let's put it that
Yeah.
way. Like,
I think he has a good 5 years playing both ways total.
Agree.
yeah, we'll see. if
And
he can
with
get back
the
to
amount of
his-
stats that he can get under his belt within that, it's shocking to me that Jake, out of everybody who's a Yankees fan, would say that he's going to be better than Babe Ruth.
Well, here's the thing. Who is the baseball GOAT right now? I think it's Babe Ruth. And that's because
People say it's Babe Ruth.
Exactly.
I mean,
Even though
mine is
he doesn't have the
mine is
best
Willie
stats.
Mays.
Yeah, he doesn't have the
But-
best stats, but Babe Ruth, again, the reason I think people think of him as the GOAT is one, I think he's the guy that really made baseball what it is today. And then two, he was the only other player that successfully pitched and hit, but he never did it in the same year. And
put it
Ohtani already
this
did
way.
it twice.
I feel like your three options are between Willie Mays, him, and Hank Aaron.
I think
I'm
Barry
going Barry
Bonds is up there.
Bonds.
Yeah, I think Barry Bonds is up there.
I think Barry
Um,
Bonds is.
But I honestly, by the end of his career, the stats might not be there because of his injury-riddled career, like total. But with how much he's played and the stats that he put up when he played, I
Mhm.
think Ohtani is going to become the best
Yeah,
player of all
I
time.
mean that's
Yeah.
always an argument. Like, what do you mean by GOAT? Do you mean like statistically
Like
the
so,
best, including
I'm gonna
No,
get-
the
or, like, the most
greatest to
talented?
touch a baseball.
let me get into this real quick. It'll be very quick. So our
Yeah,
friend
make
Danny,
it quick so that they can go.
our friend Danny, he was going to be invited to the pod, but unfortunately we're on a time crunch, so hopefully he comes out next week. He messaged me on Instagram because I posted Shohei Ohtani's the best player of all time, argue with a wall, and then he was like,
I remember
"Well,"
that.
and then Danny messaged me and he goes, "But Bonds played 20 years," and then I go, "But Ohtani's been better in the 8 years that he played." So it's like, what do you care for? Do you care for longevity or do you care for the stats within how long they both played?
I just think the greatest to touch a baseball in general,
And then I
like
think
stat wise,
Yeah.
and what you did during
and I
your
think
years.
it's going to be Ohtani.
Yeah. Ben, it's time for your player of the week. That is kind of weird, but go for it.
Why?
Yeah. My player of the week is
That's a great one.
should have won the college football player of the week, and that is Temple
Absolutely.
quarterback Evan Simon. Yes, I know. You thought I was gonna
I
say
would
the
not
kicker.
ever
But-
pick a current
Jake
Temple
is like,
football
you
player
really
to
made
be
me
my
switch
player of
for
the
no
week.
reason.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna
Wait,
say.
can
Yeah,
you at
that's
least
right.
mention him? Can you at least mention
Oh,
the
I will.
other guy?
I'll get there. I'll get
Thank you. Because I was thinking about buying his merch.
the last week of college
yeah,
football.
automatics and stuff.
Temple was the best team in college football history. Okay, if you're just counting last week,
Yeah.
Evan Simon, 270 yards, 5 touchdowns. What an insane week. How was that guy not our starter coming out of camp? I could never tell you.
I
It
just
makes
wanna-
no sense to me.
I
We
just
were
wanna
saying
say-
that,
Yeah,
yes.
real quick.
Yeah.
The reason the Owls won is because I was there, and currently the Owls are undefeated while I'm there. So I'll be there Thursday. So we should win that game too.
Let's go.
Have fun with
Okay.
that.
Sounds good. The Owls are undefeated when I'm at home. They've also lost games, but you know.
Evan
Gabe,
Simon looked great though.
They're undefeated in the last week. Wait, I'm not done. I'm not
all
done.
right.
And we have the best kicker in college football history,
Since like
Maddox
1970.
Trullo. Yeah, since like
You're too hype over a Temple
Goal
football
in the
team.
history.
He's an NFL player now. He is an NFL player now.
He's-
He has to be.
I've been
I
saying
think
this
even
for weeks.
before
I said
that. I think
week
even
one.
before that he was showing that he was good.
Yeah. I
Listen.
was texting Gabe. I was texting Gabe during our week 1 game. I'm like, dude, this kicker is going to the NFL. He made like a 46-yard field goal, but sometimes you can just tell. You can just
You're
tell.
too hype about a Temple football team that is ran by Stan Drayton.
Well, listen. Okay,
all
regardless
I'm
of what we say about
Hey,
Stan
bro, I'm
Drayton,
allowed
we
to
just
be
beat a future
excited,
Pac-12
okay?
team. We just beat a future.
You know
Pac-12
what? You
team,
know
so-
what I am towards Temple football. You know who I am. I'm the new Kendrick Perkins towards Temple football.
You know what? EJ Warner, I'm glad you left.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
right.
said.
Can we?
You played horrible.
He said
You
today.
played
He said
horrible.
today.
What's his record?
Not good.
Like,
He has
one
like,
and
I don't
three.
know.
He's
Yeah,
like
he-
actually one of
he-
the worst quarterbacks in the country by QBR. I think, right? We looked that up.
Yeah, he is.
in his last
Gabe,
Well,
did
I
you
think we
see?
can agree. Wait, sorry.
Yeah.
What was that?
Did you see what Perkins said today too?
I don't listen to that guy at all. I think
He said nobody's scared of
like,
Boston in the playoffs this year.
like
That's
he
crazy
just
that he would
talks.
say that as a former
He just
Celtic.
speaks and nothing makes sense. He
Yeah.
just it's all like clickbaiting. I
You
don't
know
listen.
he's
I like
he's
listening to him
great
'cause
when
it's
you
funny.
go in. You know he's great when you go into 2K My Career and he pops up on your screen. He's like, "This my player. He ain't gonna do nothing. He ain't anything." He just starts ripping your own player. And you're like, "Yeah, what I even do?"
I don't listen to
It's
Kendrick. I don't
hilarious.
listen to Stephen A. Smith. I don't listen to half
You
of
don't
those
listen to
guys.
Stephen A.
No,
I
I think
listen to
I
Stephen
don't
A
listen
for
to
one
him.
reason, and that reason will be talked about during our week 3 preview. Gabe, it is your turn. Go for
Okay,
it.
real quick because I didn't get it in before Ben, but I don't understand, and I'll make this quick. I don't really understand the significance of the 50-50 stat with Shohei, just because it's the same for me as a triple double in basketball. I do not like triple doubles at all. What does points, rebounds, and assists have to do with each other? Absolutely nothing. They're just stats that you throw together because they're significant,
It's
and now they mean something, right?
it's
What's
a
the
LeBron
difference?
James stat. It's a LeBron James stat.
Yeah, but
basically.
also
No,
Gabe-
it's a Russell Westbrook stat.
It is a Russell Westbrook stat.
yeah, true, it is. Or
I think it
Jokic
was just
stat
something that
before.
they did to like, what's the significance of 10? Why is that better than 7 or 5 or 15, right? It doesn't make any sense to me. The fact that maybe 50 is more of a milestone, right? Maybe it's over a
Yeah.
career or over a season, so it makes more sense. I just don't understand what do hits and
Gabe,
or home
Gabe, I
runs,
think-
sorry. What do home runs and stolen bases have to do with
Yeah,
each other?
I think Gabe,
Like-
they don't have anything to do with each other, which is why it's significant because it shows that he is a power speed threat, which isn't seen often in the MLB. So I think that's why it's significant.
I
agree.
think that's
Ronald
valid.
Acuna was really close to doing it last year, though. He
Yeah.
had like what 46 home runs last year.
40-70. He
Like, I
had a
think-
40-70 season.
I think like before this year, nobody would have cared.
Who's
nobody
Ronald
even.
Acuna? I only know his little brother. I only know Luis Acuna.
All right, give your player
He
of
was
the
the same
week.
swing. He
All
was the
right,
exact
my
same
player
swing,
of
by
the
the way.
week. By the way, Jake, last thing, not the best athlete of time of all time. It's got to be either like LeBron, John Jones, or like I don't even know who else. I could throw another name out there soon.
Okay.
Argue with
Fair,
the wall.
fair.
But okay, my athlete of the week is not an athlete actually. It's a GM, coach, whatever you want to call it. Zach Brown. He is the CEO of McLaren Formula One, which is essentially the general manager of the team / head coach. I say this because for the last 3 years, Formula One has been absolutely dominated by this guy on Red Bull. His name is Max Verstappen. He's on his way to become the best driver of all time. It's like just gotta face the facts. I'm a Lewis Hamilton fan. He's the best of all time. Verstappen's gonna eclipse him if he keeps going at the rate that he's going now. Except this year, he's been absolutely dominating Verstappen, winning like 20 out of 24 races in a calendar year. It's insane. Now this year comes around, he starts off really strong as he did last year, and then slowly we start to see these new drivers winning races. It started, I believe, with the Ferrari. Yeah, it started with Carlos Sainz, who drives his Ferrari, and it's like, okay, maybe this Ferrari will sneak in a couple race wins. And then Lando Norris won, which is a McLaren, and then Charles Leclerc won, who was the other Ferrari driver, and then Russell and Hamilton both won, who are the two Mercedes drivers. This has been the most exciting season of Formula One since 2021 when Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton were tied on points going into the final race of the season. And honestly, I know we all had those years that we can look back at and be like, or even during the season, be like, this is a great season of whatever sport it is. And that is exactly what is happening in Formula One. If you want a sport to get into, if you're bored, if you're for whatever reason not a football, baseball, basketball fan, look at Formula One. They're having a great year. It's going to be really exciting. Zach Brown.
Let's go Lando.
I do not like Lando Norris, but Zach
Lando.
Brown, you're my player of the week.
How do you not like
Mhm.
Lando? Lando's so likable.
He's so whiny.
I love
He's so
Lando.
whiny. He thinks he's the best. Like it's just, I don't know. All the girls like him because he looks good. Same reason. It's like the JJ McCarthy thing.
Yeah.
Who was it? Was it
His
Sean's
daughter, Joe Shane's
daughter? That's
daughter.
like, JJ McCarthy looks like he'll be the best quarterback.
Yeah, and then her
Sounds
brother's
like,
just
just
saying,
saying because he looks good.
Moving on, going into our week 3 recap, and then we'll give our predictions. Starting off, obviously we had the Thursday night football game, Patriots Jets. Jets smoked them obviously, and proceeded to find my boy Hassan once again, even though he does not care. and posted on Twitter 4 days ago. God will always make a path. And that was his quote, and left it at that. And that was the first time we've heard from him since he posted on Instagram of him walking around Japan with a sword, which was hilarious. By the way, that was so funny during training camps. The dude was in Japan enjoying life. I love it.
Chris,
I
is it
love
safe
it.
to say he's taking the Robbie Anderson route? He's just
Oh,
going
I love
insane.
it, dude.
He's just,
he's
like,
not
not
going
mentioning
insane.
there or
He's
something.
not going insane at all.
Those-
The dude just wants to
those
get
Temple-
paid.
Those Temple alumni, man. Those Temple alumni.
There's something in the water. I don't know.
Bro
There's
just
something in
wants
the
to get
Philadelphia
paid,
Philadelphia
bro.
water.
So
think
that
the
one
Jets need
was
him?
yes, desperately,
Really?
especially when Aaron Rodgers is answering questions about him through interviews and was like, I don't know, I forget what he said, but it was something about like Hassan's agent or something, like, oh, he needs to like get it going like now. No, they definitely need him, but I will say McDonald's been playing good in his place. He has been. But you
Right,
could easily move him to the other side and have him and Reddick play if Reddick comes back.
Yeah, especially the injury that they had, Jermaine Johnson getting hurt. Like,
yeah,
definitely.
definitely. Next up, Jake's favorite game. He really enjoyed this one, the Giants and the Browns. But I'm gonna say something too. I don't know if it was an edit. I don't know if it was an edit at all, but it looked really, really funny. Someone put out a picture on Twitter and it said, "No wonder why the Browns suck and keep losing. They're rolling on the sidelines," and it looked like a dude was holding weed in a bag.
And they also, Gabe, you definitely saw this. You watched the game, right, Gabe?
Of course, yeah.
So, remember when they got the pick six, but it was rough in the
I
pass?
did. And then
And
that entire
they
pose in the end
celebrated.
zone, I'm
They
like freaking out. I'm
celebrated
like,
in the end
Daniel Jones just threw it right to the guy, and now they're posing in the end zone. Jake, I don't know if you felt the same way though. When I saw that defense, that Giants defense, I was like, this is finally they're finally starting to gel.
Oh, yeah.
And this is exactly what I expected. We let up like how many points? What was it? 7?
20
It was
Yeah, and
It was
first half.
21-15.
21 to
But
15.
we let up
Yeah.
like 7 points for like a vast majority of the game.
And those
We were
7
pressuring
points,
Deshaun Watson like crazy. The pass
Yeah.
rush looked so good. That
And
is
the
what I
7
expect from that New York Giants defense.
yeah, and the 7 points came off of that stupid turnover to start the game. Like I
Yeah.
texted, like going back to my friend Gavin real quick, I texted him as soon as the game started. I hate the Giants because, of course, the Giants thing to do to have a chance to win and then instantly give up a touchdown. And he texted me back, bro, it's been 5 minutes because we were down 7-0.
All I'm gonna say is, with the way the Browns are playing, this is making me feel like they're gonna come last in their division.
They are 0-2 with Jameis Winston playing less than 2 snaps a game.
There you
Yeah,
go.
they're looking like they're gonna come last.
Also,
in that
let me
division.
shout out to Wandale Robinson real quick because Malik Neighbors has been getting all this hype and rightfully so. He's been downright amazing. But Wandale Robinson in that wide receiver 2 position has been catching the ball a lot.
I need to
Yeah.
see
Even- He's
I need to
looking
see
good.
receptions
That
of the year.
Wandale Robinson pick is coming in
Listen,
clutch. He's
I
absolutely
also said he was a dark horse to lead the league in receptions, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's top 5 right now.
Yo, you could
I
laugh
would
at
not be shocked.
this.
He's throwing the ball a lot to him.
You guys can laugh at this all you want. I don't care whether you think it's a joke or if I'm being serious. I'll let you figure that out on your own. I think if the Steelers, right, didn't have Russ and Fields and went back to the Mason Rudolph days, that they still would have a better record than the Browns this year.
Oh, wow. Okay, so the receptions leaders, Rashee Rice is number 1. Neighbors is actually number 2, surprisingly. I didn't think
Not
he was
shocked at
catching the
all,
ball that
honestly.
much. And then Wandale's actually top 20. He's tied with Cole Kmet. So honestly,
There you go.
just
He's wide
seeing,
receiver 2 and he's top 20 in
and
receptions.
just seeing Giants receivers in the top 30 is actually a surprise for me this year.
Absolutely.
Moving
great,
on, the next game was the Eagles and Saints game, which
What a game.
really shocked me. And I say this because the defense actually played really good besides the edge rushing of Bryce Huff, obviously, and Josh Sweat. That aside, Jalen Carter is a monster. That kid is unbelievable.
I have a question for the Eagles fans.
He is unbelievable. And
I have a
before
very-
you ask your question, you may say, oh, well, they won, but at what cost because of all the guys getting hurt and stuff. But, I mean, this team looks like they could win with just Goddard and Saquon anyway. So,
Yeah. My one question is, do you guys think you deserve to win that game against the Saints?
I 100%
Yes.
think we do. I honestly think the scoreline was a little unjust to how much we beat the Saints by. I know, call me crazy. This Eagles offense was really good. The issue was Jalen Hurts in the red zone. I guess if you want to extend the red zone out to like the 30,
Well,
this year, he had 300 yards passing, and we had 172 yards rushing, right? So that's over almost 500 yards of total offense, and we only put up 15 points. I think obviously part of that is Nick Sirianni not kicking field goals, which he gets a lot of hate for, but he sticks to his convictions, and I can be like, okay, if he's gonna stick to his convictions, like that's fine by me.
If you're
As
down
long
by
as he continues
3,
to do it.
though, if you're down by 3, just tie the game and then you can take the lead. That's my thing.
Well, yeah, obviously, but that was I mean, that was the only one I disagreed with. But I mean, if we actually ran the tush push, like I would have been more okay with
That
it. The
fake
play we
tush
ran was
push
just
looked
dumb.
great, huh? That fake tush push.
It
looked
was dumb.
amazing.
But we have run a fake tush push that has worked before.
You guys need to turn it into
Mhm.
a pass. I think if you turn the tush push into a pass somehow, it would work every time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it already works pretty much every time. We figured it out. We changed it up
Yeah.
between the week 1 and week 2. We changed how it works a little bit. But outside of that, like Saquon Barkley right now for me is the favorite for offensive player of the year. Like,
I agree.
running back isn't going to win MVP.
I
but
agree on it.
offensive player of the
Jake, let me
year.
tell you something real quick though. The Eagles could be down 100-0, and in the final second of the game, the refs could throw a flag that somehow award the Eagles 101 points, and they'll still think that they deserve the win. Like that's just how it works.
Saquon,
right?
But
Saquon's
that is not true.
They'll still point. Jalen Hurts, he had a pretty good QBR, so I don't know.
not only is Saquon averaging 100 yards a game, but I also want to touch base on something real quick. Gabe, you said you don't listen to Stephen A at all, but I enjoy every week when he makes a video of him just looking at the camera, and starts laughing, and
How
then
about them Cowboys?
yeah, how about them Cowboys?
That's the one time
you
I
know?
listen to.
Yeah.
That is the one time
They
I
lose
listen
to the Saints, but we
I think
beat
the
the
thing,
Saints.
Chris-
That sounds
Chris, the
accurate.
thing is, Gabe and I don't hate the Cowboys as much as you two do because they just aren't our biggest rivals. So it's like we
Your
don't.
biggest
care
rival is
much.
the Commanders because you
Pretty
two always
much.
fight at the bottom,
Yeah,
bottom of the
Here's-
barrel.
Here's my last point on the
moving-
Eagles game. One last point before we move on.
Hit it real quick.
The Eagles shut down what was seen as the best offensive team in the league the first 2 weeks. If the Eagles can continue this and fix their turnover issues and penalty issues, the Eagles are going to be one of the best teams in the NFC for sure. And I'm very
I
happy.
agree.
about this
I
week.
agree. Moving on. These next 2 games are really hurt our predictions from the 4 of us guys. So we might as well hit both of them at the same time. Texans, Vikings, and the Buccaneers, Broncos. Guys, CJ Stroud, Mixon, Nico, Stefan, Tank.
don't say.
What are we
Stephon.
doing
Stephon-
losing
Stephon
to
had a
Sam
great game.
Darnold?
Stephon
Why
had a
is
great
Sam
game.
Darnold 3-0 right now, guys?
Dude, Sam
Why
Darnold
is
is one of the favorites
Baker
for MVP.
Mayfield losing to the Broncos?
What
What
I
sense
saw-
does this make?
What I saw about Sam Darnold, which was really funny, is he's been in the league for 7 years at this point, and
Mm-hmm.
he also is still younger than guys like Joe Burrow and a couple other I think he's younger than Mahomes, obviously. Like a couple other guys that
Why
got drafted
didn't
after
Sam
him.
Darnold do this when he got drafted to the Jets? Is my concern.
Because
All
the
I
Sometimes
wanna
Jets,
Geno Smith didn't. Sometimes it just takes a minute.
the Jets are terrible at
All I wanna
developing
s-
QBs.
All I want to
Terrible.
say about this game is that I said if I asked if I could do a caveat on my pick because I said if Joe Mixon is out, they're going to get destroyed, and I was right. But I should have gone with my gut and was like, okay, Joe Mixon's probably going to be out. But at the time of our recording, it was very very much up in the air until the day after when he basically said he was going to be out, and then it
What
was like, oh,
about- What about Baker losing to the Broncos? It's the same story here. How does that happen?
That one makes no sense to me,
I think-
and I lost a decent amount of money on
I
that
think
game.
he is
because-
allowed to have a bad game because he's been
All
so
right.
good for the Bucks. That's
All
my
right.
look at it.
Yeah, obviously there were just 2 big
Also,
upsets this week.
The Bucks need to start Bucky Irving immediately. Rashad White is the most overrated. running back
Rashad
in
White's
the NFL.
having a rough start. I'm still a Rashad White guy though. I still believe in him. That aside though, you know who else is garbage, Ben?
The
Will
Cowboys
Levis and the
girls?
Titans. Will Levis and the
Oh.
Titans. You know,
I
your
was-
second
I-
favorite team.
Did you guys see
You
the
know,
graphic I made?
You picked them
Yeah, why
is-
again. You picked them
Why?
again. You were
Okay,
like,
can I ask
oh,
a-
they're
can I
gonna
ask a question
cook.
about this game? Why is Malik Willis all of a sudden have the ability to play quarterback? Like since
Malik
when?
Willis
Why-
revenge game against his former team. It
Yep.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
It does.
Will Levis is like
And he beat
a
him by
wor-
16. He beat him by 2
You also
touchdowns.
think about it this way
Will
too.
Will Levis is like a worse version of Anthony Richardson. Like they both show so much talent, yet they make the dumbest mistakes
Yeah,
I've
and
ever seen.
Ben,
It
Ben,
makes
think about it.
no
that's
sense.
great.
Think about it this way as well. Will Levis, or not Will Levis, Malik Willis, when he was with the Titans, their game plan was to run the ball, and now they're like kind of pass heavy, which maybe that's
Yep.
helping Willis in a sense with the Packers.
Yep. They got a lot
Yeah,
of
I don't know why
By the way,
I don't know why the
great weapons
Titans
all
are
around.
only running.
Does Will Levis
I don't know.
does Will Levis understand that he can throw shorter passes, or does he just like throw like
I don't
60
under- why
yards
are
to the house every single
Why
time?
did the Titans?
He thinks he's playing against teams like Kennesaw State where you could just throw it
Yeah.
100
Yeah.
and
My
throw for
question is-
300 yards.
Why do the Titans refuse to run the ball? They have two like starter caliber running backs.
I would
and they
run the
ran
ball
ball
line
because of
11
Pollard.
times.
Pollard's good.
Their O line's not that good though. Their O line is actually not that good.
I know, but they only ran the ball like 11 times, and 3 of them were Will Levis. Like you got to try and establish the run. You have to.
I agree. I
I,
agree.
I just don't understand what they're what's going on with their play calling.
Moving on to the next game. I said this guy was gonna have a good game, and I handed it to him. But once again, he just proves that he sucks. So Caleb Williams, you're just proving to me again that you're not Jaden Daniels. You're
And
not
you
on
took him in
Jaden
that game,
Daniels'
didn't you?
level.
Didn't you take the Bears?
I did take the Bears. I said
Yeah.
this is going to be the one game that Caleb Williams wins and succeeds in throwing. I said he was going to throw at least 300, which he did. He threw for 2 touchdowns, but he also threw for 2 picks and only put up 16 points. So, I mean, like, I truly do not care. He's not on Jaden Daniels' level, and it just keeps proving it and proving it. And,
I
I mean, to be fair,
feel
too,
so
though,
bad
at
for
the
Bears
same
fans.
time, it's not like Anthony Richardson played good at all.
Yeah.
Anthony
I just-
Richardson did
the
not
Bear-
play good.
The Bears are so close to being a good team because their defense is awesome. Like their defense has been great. It's just I don't know what's going on this season with like some of these teams. Their offensive play calling
And-
just doesn't make any sense. Like
and-
why is Caleb Williams throwing the ball 52 times?
Ben,
52.
Yeah.
you know who else is awesome and plays defense? You know who else I'm talking about? My guy
Yeah.
Kenny Moore. Kenny Moore is a dog, bro.
He is.
He's
he
an
is.
animal.
Um,
He's nasty.
The thing I'll say about Caleb Williams and the Bears, I have 2 points. First, the Bears' offensive line is not good as well. They need to help Williams out in the future with that. Number 2, it just sucks for Williams because I think just because he was the number 1 pick and he's seen as this generational talent, he's going to be put under more of a microscope where it's like if he doesn't perform well, then he's going to be a bust. Unlike Jaden Daniels, who he's more of a project type QB. So it sucks for him that way, but also like with the team he has, he should be good.
Jaden Daniels is gonna win offensive rookie of the year. Calling it right here, right now.
Neighbors. Neighbors.
It's got to be Malik
Gotta be
Neighbors with
Neighbors.
how he's
It's gotta be
playing.
Neighbors.
It'll be Jaden. You'll
We'll
see.
see.
I mean, it's tougher.
You
wanna make a bet?
I-
Chris, you wanna make a bet?
I think it
You'll
might
see
be Marvin
it.
Harrison.
You want to make
I
a
think
bet,
it might
Chris?
be Marvin Harrison.
You'll
I'll make a
see
bet
it.
right
To be-
now. I'll make a
To be
bet right
fair,
now.
if Washington finishes with like a 500 or above record, he's gonna win offensive rookie of the year, no matter
Chris.
what the numbers are.
Chris,
No,
if,
what is your bet?
if Daniels wins, I'll buy an Eagles jersey. If Neighbors wins, you have to buy a Giants jersey of the other person's choosing.
No, you're gonna pick like
So I
Tommy
have-
DeVito
I
or
have the
something.
odds
It's
right
gonna
here.
be
You guys
something
wanna
real
see the odds?
stupid.
Do you agree? Do you agree? I'll do it right now.
No, this is gonna be so stupid.
You're scared. You're scared. is
It's
what I'm
gonna be
hearing.
so
You're
stupid.
scared. I know.
No,
I will
I'm
give
not
you a.
doing that.
I will give you either a Daniel Jones jersey or fine. Loser has to buy the other person's jersey. So either you have to buy Neighbors or I have to buy Daniels.
All right.
I
Deal?
have
All
the live odds.
What
right
if
here.
neither of them win? What if neither
So-
of them win?
Then we lose. We both lose.
So Jaden Daniels is actually in first place right now on the odds. He's plus 145. Malik Neighbors is second at plus 280. Nothing unusual over here, but
All right.
I get why Jaden Daniels is first, I guess. I don't know.
Moving on from there, we had the game that all of us were like really like confused on, being the Chargers and Steelers. None of us really knew who was gonna win that game.
It would be the most Steelers thing ever to start 3-0 with a bad offense. And there you go.
There's not even much to touch on that game anyways. It wasn't like a crazy game. The next
intense
game I do want to touch base on, though, a little bit, go into more in depth. This is hilarious to me. Seattle, you made my Sunday just watching you just pounce on Skylar Thompson just to show how bad of a quarterback he is.
He's a backup. Why do you hate him so bad?
He's so bad. No,
He's a backup.
it's not even that I hate him. It doesn't matter if he's a backup. If you watch that game, you would just physically see how bad he is.
I just want to
He is
see.
horrible.
I just want to see if Ben and Gabe choose the Dolphins next week when we get into our
Tyler
predictions.
Huntley might be
Please
starting.
do.
Yeah.
I would have more confidence in them.
Yeah.
Next up, the Panthers smacked around the Raiders.
Oh, I'm
Andy-
so mad at this. I
Dalton.
literally called this,
said
but
it.
I didn't pick it.
Ben, I did the
called this,
exact
but
same
didn't
thing.
pick
I
it.
said
I'm so mad.
I said this is the Panthers' best chance to get a win all
No,
season. And they got
Jake's
the win.
words, and I quote, "It's a Raiders thing to lose to the Panthers after beating the Ravens."
And I called it. And Andy Dalton had the best game a QB has had this season. What is happening this year?
Yeah.
Actually, the
Um,
Red Bulls
Dude,
will go off.
You want to hear one of my? You want to hear a bold prediction? I think Andy Dalton gets traded to a team that needs a quarterback. Like I bet Miami,
Dolphins?
Andy Dalton.
Philly.
What? Why?
We
I'll
don't
take
need a
him in
quarterback.
You want it? I mean, actually,
What?
probably
Yeah,
better
dude.
than Jalen Hurts. So
Yeah.
He
Honestly,
might play better than
if
Jalen.
Andy Dalton continues to play great and he continues to start, which I don't know when they put Bryce Young back in, he might be locked for a comeback player of the year if he continues to keep playing that way.
kind of amazing.
I
They put
agree.
up almost 40 points.
Yeah.
Moving on though to some of the other games. Obviously the Lions beat the Cardinals. Not much to touch base on
What
there.
do you mean, obviously?
Marv
That was a
still
good
played
game.
good. No, it was a good game, but we all predicted the Lions were gonna win that. We knew it was gonna happen. It was obvious.
That's fair.
Marv still had a good game, so it's good for his fantasy managers. Obviously the Ravens beat up on the Cowboys. Yeah.
Almost
Beautiful.
choked again. Somehow almost choked away again.
Mhm.
This team that cannot close
They
out.
got an onside kick, right? The Cowboys got an onside kick.
They did, but
Yes.
they still almost choked. They were up 20 to. I think they were up. What was it? 28 to like 7
They
in
were
the fourth?
smacking them. Yeah, they were smacking them.
I'm
20
saving
28 to 6.
We got 4 games left, and then we'll do our predictions. So the first game that I want to let Jake throw a few words on. Jake, Bills Jaguars. Let's hear it. Let's hear the tangent.
God,
Let's hear the
dude.
tangent.
Holy, I'm so glad you told me to stop. We stopped for this one. Trevor Lawrence, dude. How do
Is
you
Daniel Jones
continue-
not better?
He is now. He actually is. How
I
do
think
you
Doug
continue-
Peterson's about to get fired
I think
within
he
the
is
next 3
too.
weeks.
I'll
and
take him back.
How do you continue to get worse? As
I
a
will gladly
quarterback?
take him back, Ben.
So
Gladly.
I'm going to be honest with you. I told Ben before we started the call today, depending on the matchup, I am always going to pick against the Jaguars because of how bad, how absolutely awful Trevor Lawrence is. It's just sad at this point. It really, Mac Jones has similar stats to him as a starting QB, and he's his backup. How are you going to let that happen?
Jake, thank you for trashing the Jaguars after they lost by 37.
They
Because
deserve
the Bills
it.
beat them 47-10. I want to trash a team now. One specifically that me and Ben do not like. 49ers, what happened? No Cooper Kupp, no Puka Nacua. And you still proceed to lose to the Rams. Wow. It goes to show the Rams own you. It's obvious. They won a Super Bowl way more recently than you guys have for a reason. Matthew Stafford.
Two Outwell. What
Matthew
happened,
Stafford, I still love you to this day, buddy. This is why I'm a Georgia fan. I love you. Wait, can I say one thing though too? Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't there a play where Tutu Atwell tried to throw the football as the quarterback?
Most likely. I feel like I remember it.
I could have swore he dropped back in the
This game?
pocket.
This game or
Yes, this game. Yeah, when I look at the
I don't
stat
remember.
sheet right now, it says he was 0 for 1 passing to Atwell. That's hilarious. Yeah, no, it just goes to show the 49ers are trash per usual. Next up, this one's it's a Chiefs way to win is the way I see it. You win by basically less than one score, and you win because of bad reffing towards the end of the game.
Every time.
It's just how it goes. They just win in their favor.
They
The
win
refs
every
favor them. The refs will go against them the game, like the first three, right? Make it seem like they're not being biased, and then the fourth quarter comes and they're just really biased, and then the Chiefs pull out a W by winning by like 1 to 6 different points. And then the final game that we had this week was the other the Sunday night or Monday night football game I meant, which was weird that they had 2 of them anyways. But that aside,
they have 2 again this week.
Joe Burrow. You are not him, buddy. Jaden Daniels got your number now.
Chris, honestly, I don't even think it was Joe Burrow's fault because both teams punted maybe one time the entire game.
No, it's not his fault. But I'm just laughing. I'm laughing at the sole fact that Jaden Daniels took his number. Jaden Daniels took his number. Well, absolutely. Do you know why, Ben? Because they lost. Ben, they lost a huge player last year that nobody talked about at all. Yeah. Nobody talking about him at all. DJ Reader.
Oh.
I don't care what anybody says. He was phenomenal as a D tackle.
Their interior D-line was also
Look at what happens now. Jaden Daniels is running circles around them since they lost Reader.
If Trey Hendrickson isn't getting pass rush, nobody else on that team is. He's the only guy on that defense.
Hendrickson's good.
And their only other good player, in my opinion, on defense is Jermaine Pratt. Outside of that, they're garbage, bro. They're legitimately garbage.
Shout out to Andre Yoshavash too. He looks sick. I really like him.
Jake, it's your time to shine, Jake. Pull out the sheet.
Yes, sir. The sheet is up. Time to burn through our records from last week. We'll start from the bottom to the top. And what a shocker. Ben, you are at the bottom again. Your record week 3 was 5-11. Do you have anything to say for yourself before I go through your picks?
I took some risk and they didn't hit at all.
Fair.
Shout out to Doug Peterson. Okay. I hate you.
So, Ben, your best win. Let's start with your best win of the week. You only had one win that you didn't have any wins that everybody else guessed wrong. You had one win with someone else, and that was Gabe. You predicted the Colts to beat the Bears. Me and Chris both predicted them to
go Colts
lose. So the Colts saved you as much as you possibly could be saved. Some questionable picks from you. You didn't pick your Eagles. That's what obviously both of you and Chris didn't.
I'm not trying to be a homer, bro.
That's fair.
I was the only person to pick the Eagles.
Gabe was the only one, and he also commented on the Instagram saying that never put the Eagles next to his face ever again.
Do not.
He loves the Eagles.
Go Birds, baby.
The Dolphins
third, second, and first.
The Dolphins hurt you as well, Ben. Questionable decisions. In third place, if you looked at the Instagram, you would know we were top 3 are tied once again, just like week 1, because I unfortunately had a bad week and went 6-10. It sucks.
Wow, that really sucks. Wow. You're still not in last place.
We're all in first. Besides
my
Ben.
best win of the week, my Giants was the only one to pick them. I'm going to continue to pick them no matter what. I'm going to Michael Strahan this all through the season. And my worst pick, back-to-back picks, Cowboys, Falcons. Just thought they would win. And honestly, the Chiefs, Falcons, I'm not going to complain. It's the Chiefs. You should pick them every week. Really thought the Ravens would go 0-3. But unfortunately, they didn't.
I should have picked the
And
Commanders.
I should have picked the Ravens. In second place, with still a record below 500, but yet he is tied for first. It's Chris. He went 7-9, one more win than me. His best win. Just like I believe just like Ben. Yes. Just like Ben, his best pick, someone
The
else also
Seahawks?
picked him. It was the Seahawks game. Me and him both picked the Seahawks to win. I thought that was an obvious pick, but it split 2-2. And besides that, not really anything else there. Again, he didn't pick his Eagles. And another big loss for him was the Bears. So couldn't argue with him again there. And in first place this week with an above 500 record of 9-7, Gabe, congratulations. You win week 3. Your best pick obviously was the Eagles. You were the only one to pick them for some reason. You also picked the Steelers. You picked the Steelers over the Chargers. So that was also a good pick for you. And your worst loss, honestly,
Dolphins probably.
It was the Dolphins, but that's not a bad loss. I mean, I thought the Seahawks were going to win easily, but like going 2-2 for your worst loss is pretty good. So
I should have rode
Terrible.
Steelers. I should have rode Steelers train with Gabe for a second week in a row.
You know
I
it's bad
should've.
when Ben texts before the standings come out.
Um,
Did I really pick the Dolphins?
We both, to be fair, we both thought that Tyler
Yeah.
Huntley was going to start.
Jake,
So,
Yeah.
and
Are
he's
you
in
ready?
consideration for next week. They're considering starting him next week.
you ready, Jake, to start plugging in?
I am ready. We are starting with the Thursday night game. Chris, go ahead.
Cowboys Giants. We already know who Jake's picking. We already know who Gabe's picking.
Gabe?
Well,
Gabe?
Ben,
Cowboys country, let's ride.
Interesting.
that sounds so bad. Don't ever say that again.
tried
I'm
something,
also
it didn't work.
picking the Cowgirls, but
Okay.
I'm not gonna hype them up like that. Never.
Listen,
in a
every
million
single
I
years.
wasn't
year-
hyping them up. I was trying to be funny, but it failed.
every
Okay.
single year we play the Cowboys early in the
get
season.
destroyed.
Usually it's
We
like
get
week 1,
destroyed.
and there's like always some sense of like, okay, we can make this a
Didn't
game.
they play you last year, like week
40-0,
1, and they are
40-0.
yeah.
Every
Um,
single time.
But
Every
Gabe,
single
this is
time.
different, right? Gabe, this is different, right? We have a good
I
offense.
No.
hope so, but I
No.
honestly, I'm doing the emotional hedge again. I'm gonna take the
Okay.
Cowboys.
So it sounds like Gabe, I'm gonna pick the
3-1.
Giants every week and hope they win. You're gonna pick them to lose and hope they win.
Most of the time, I will pick them to win when I think they'll win. I honestly don't see
Yeah,
them
but that's
beating
what I did with the
Cowboys.
Eagles, Jake. I said I'm gonna pick them to lose, but hope they win.
That's fair. That's fair.
So
That
I'm
makes
just
me say
Michael,
with the Eagles.
I'm Michael Strahanning it, so we'll see.
All right. Well, so it's 3-1. Next up, Sunday football. We have this one should be a consensus unless if people think otherwise. Bengals Panthers.
Well,
Does Andy Dalton start? Does Andy
Yeah.
start? Oh, Andy Dalton revenge game.
I gotta go with the Bengals because I just cannot see the Bengals starting out 0-4. Like
I don't see it
just
either.
can't.
I don't see it
I
either.
just
I'm
can't.
taking the Bengals on this game. Their defense is sloppy, but I don't think sloppy enough to lose to the Panthers. I do like the Andy Dalton
Oh.
revenge game piece of it, but nah, I'm gonna go. with
big
Bengals.
news, big news. The Carolina Panthers just signed Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, and Tyler Eifert. I'm hearing it's going to be a Cincinnati bank. The Panthers just did that. I'm hearing it's going to be a bank. No, I'm playing.
Did they sign
Uh,
Tyler Eifert? Is that real?
no.
I was
I
gonna
just,
say,
I
he
just
hasn't
made up
played in
two
like
like
5
random
years. He
Bengals
hasn't
players
played in,
that.
like,
played
Like
well
I
that
said,
remember.
give me the Bengals, Jake, Gabe.
Give me the Bengals as well. And there's no way
I'm
to
not
start
gonna
over.
lie. I don't know if you guys are on the sheet. I usually put my picks in before you guys just so I can remember who like I picked.
I am not looking at the
And,
sheet, so
it's
it's a surprise for me.
I originally put the Panthers, but I can't do 2 like hero picks in a row. I just can't
Yeah,
do
you
that. I
can.
did that.
What are you
I
talking
did that.
about?
I did that last week and it
I
screwed
need
me.
to catch up.
I'm going Bengals.
All right. Next up, this one's probably not gonna be a consensus, but I know where I'm going with this game. Saints Falcons. And
Yeah, this is a tough
I
one.
know where I'm gonna go with this game.
I know where I'm going to.
And I'm gonna say this right here, right now. Everybody knows my opinion on this said team. I hate you, Kirk. I hate you, Ray McLeod. I hate Terrell Simmons.
What did
The
Ray
whole
McLeod
9
do?
yards.
He's
I hate
crushed
Ray
them.
McLeod pisses me off. He went to Clemson just to suck. That was a waste of a
He made it to
college
the
career.
NFL. He made it to the
That was a
NFL.
waste of a college career. Don't care.
Looks like he did pretty well.
Give me the Saints. Give me the Saints. I picked the Saints over the Cowboys. Give me the Saints over the Falcons. I think the Saints are going to win this game by at least 20 points.
Wow.
They're going to destroy Bijan. Destroy.
I think these two are going to split their season series, so I'm just going to go with the home team. I'm going with the Falcons. I think they're very similar teams.
No way.
I just think the Saints are the better team, to be honest.
This is why you're in last, Ben. This is why you're in last.
Jake's going to
to
pick
Orleans.
the Falcons too. I already know.
There's no
Jake
way
is
they
not
put
picking the
offense in the game, I
Falcons.
think,
Jake
but they
is
put
not
offense
picking
in
the
it.
Falcons. Jake knows
Gabe,
better.
what's the pick? Gabe, what's the pick?
I'm going New Orleans.
Wow.
Put me all alone. I dare you. I dare
okay,
you. Put me all alone.
Ben, do you like being on an island? Because if so, we're gonna be stranded together. Because I'm going with the Falcons.
No.
I think the
Okay,
Saints. I think
yeah.
it makes sense. The
All
Saints.
right.
I feel like
2-2.
not their entire franchise, but I feel like it's
Gabe,
just a cool thing to do.
It's
to,
going to be like the
for-
Steelers all over again.
We're
Gabe
gonna
and
have
Zed
Exactly,
together.
yeah, they
Here,
just
Chris.
don't-
When me and Gabe pick and it's you two are the ones who
Chris,
usually lose.
Chris. I feel like it's such a Saints thing to do to have the best
Uh.
offense for the first 2 weeks and then have the worst offense directly following.
They're
that.
not going to lose against the Falcons. The Falcons have 10 times of a worse offense than
Okay.
they do.
Okay. The next pick, I think you guys know where I'm going.
Texans, Jags. I'm going with the Texans. CJ Stroud might have had a bad week, but he's going to bounce back and destroy Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I think Doug Peterson might get fired after this week with the beatdown they're about to take. So I'm going with the
Gabe?
Texans.
I heard Trevor Lawrence just got new extensions. I'm going the Texans.
Okay. This
I don't
next one.
Yeah, I don't even have to give my pick because you guys know I hate the Jaguars.
The next one could be a bit of a toss-up here.
Next.
Broncos, Jets.
This should be a consensus. I think.
No, no, what? Unless Chris is planning something here.
Yeah. Chris, do you want to try to get ahead of us? Is that what you're trying to do?
I'm going Jets.
Okay.
I'm
yeah.
going Jets. No.
Jets, Jets.
Jets.
I'm going with the Jets.
Yeah, that's
I'm going
the
with
All
the Jets.
right.
Yeah,
Next
it's a
up,
consensus. It's a consensus.
we have the Vikings Packers.
Does Jordan Love come back? Is
It
Malik-
questionable.
doesn't matter. Malik Willis is still winning them games.
Yeah, he looks pretty
So
good.
I mean,
I'm going-
listen, it depends. Which quarterback who looked atrocious last year is gonna win? Sam Darnold, who's somehow 3-0, or Malik Willis, who's what 2-0 since he started playing? What are we gonna do here? You know what? Give me the Vikings.
They look good. I think this is more of a 50-50 game.
It's the hardest game of the week in my opinion. It's the hardest game.
Really?
I'm
I
looking at
think-
the schedule right now. It
I think the
is.
next
I don't know
one
if
is
it's the hardest.
honestly.
No.
I think the next
But
one is.
I'm going with the Packers. I think the Packers have shown me,
Mm.
and Matt LaFleur has shown me why Matt LaFleur is going to win Coach of the Year this year. That's my prediction right now. He's been exceptional. To go with the Packers. I think the Vikings are bound to fall off a little bit. But yeah, I'm going with the Packers.
I'll take. The
I also
Vikings.
just don't see the Vikings starting 4-0. I think if there's a team, this is probably the best team that's played them to this point, right? Well, who do they? No, they beat the Niners, right?
And the
They
Texans.
beat the Niners, bro, and the Texans.
That's unbelievable. Okay, regardless,
You're still gonna pick the
somehow
Packers?
this is somehow potentially the third best team that's played them in a 4-game season at this point,
Yeah.
and still I'm picking the Packers.
Wow.
The Vikings are just going
Alright.
to prove me wrong again.
Okay.
Jake.
Okay. When I have a 50-50 toss-up, which is what this is for me, I'm just gonna go when in doubt, vote against Ben. So I'm going with the Vikings. So let's go.
Gabe.
That's justified.
Gabe.
That's justified.
Gabe, can I be re-invited onto the train for this next game in the Steelers and Colts?
What does that mean?
You're invited. But
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to invite myself. Hold on. I might have to take a second, though.
I'm
You're invited.
going
You're
with
invited, but I might not invite
Steelers.
myself.
I'm taking the Steelers against the Colts. I'm doing it. Stamp it now.
And
This is my
prediction-
game of the week, and I got the Steelers
This is your
taking
game
it.
of the week.
This prediction is why I'm in last place. I'm going with Anthony Richardson and the Indianapolis Colts because if anybody is going to figure out how to beat this Steelers defense, is going to be Anthony Richardson, who does the
No.
weirdest things I've ever
Yeah.
seen of any NFL quarterback.
Fair.
And honestly, if this Steelers team this Steelers team would be the worst 4-0 team I've ever seen. So
Gabe.
I just can't.
Gabe, we've picked the Steelers every week together besides last week, and you've gotten 3 wins from it. Do it
Here's the
again.
thing. Are the Steelers going 4-0 the most Steelers thing that could ever happen with this
Yes.
roster? Yes.
Yes.
However, are they ready for 60-foot or 60-yard bombs off of a quarterback's back foot? No, I'm going Anthony Richardson, the Colts. I don't know why I'm saying Ben again, but I'm going with the Colts.
Jake.
Wow. Honestly, I thought this was the harder one to pick between the last one and this one. And
It's a tough
I
one.
just said when in doubt, go against Ben. But I think the Colts are gonna win. I liked what I saw last week.
I'll
so I'm
take an
going with the
island.
Colts.
I'll take an island.
You need one if you want to try to get in front.
Dude, that's
I'll
like a
take an
good
island.
island, though.
Yeah, that is. It's a 50.
I'll take an
That's not
island.
bad.
Mike Tomlin, I believe in you.
Okay.
He's gonna go 500 again. You know how it is. He'll go 500 again.
Above 500. You can't go 500 anymore.
Yeah. Next game, the Rams and the Bears. Everybody knows who I'm picking here. Not
Williams.
Caleb Williams, because once again, you prove that you suck for a reason. You have the chance to be the worst first overall pick, worse than Bryce Young.
I think he's
Give me
already
the
better.
Rams. Give
Statistically,
me
I think-
the Rams. Matthew Stafford showed that even with Tutu Atwell, he could beat the Niners.
And Kyron Williams is him. Kyron Williams is actually him.
Yeah,
That
I
flip
think
that he
this should-
did, the flip that he did going into the end zone was beautiful. Like I said, give me the
This-
Rams. Stamp it.
There should be consensus. I'm also going with the Rams. I mean, they really impressed me last week, so I'm going with the Rams.
I'll say this, right? We're about like halfway through the second quarter of we weren't watching the Rams game because we didn't get in our market, but Kyron Williams has like 4 fantasy points for me. And I'm telling Ben, and he's like, yeah, I told you Kyron Williams is not gonna have a good year. He's due to fall off a cliff. What does Kyron Williams do? He then scores like 30 more fantasy points.
Yeah. Yeah,
So I'm
that's
gonna
accurate.
take Kyron in the Rams regardless of their wide receiver and just offensive
Jake.
weapon injury struggles.
I like it. We'll go consensus here. I like the Rams for this.
All right. Next game we got Eagles Buccaneers, and
Should
be
even
consensus.
even with the injuries that the Eagles have, I'm gonna go with the Eagles here. Revenge game on Tampa after losing to them in the playoffs last year.
AJ Brown could play this week. Who really knows? I don't think he will. I don't see why he would. There's no point in us risking it because I think
No need to
without-
rush.
I think even without him, we'll beat this Tampa Bay team who looked good to start the season, but I think the NFL has figured them out a little bit.
Especially
and
since
this
their
Eagles-
run game's not that great right now.
Yeah, and this Eagles defense looked really good last week against the Saints offense that has also looked really good. So I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm not going to be. I told you guys I'm not going to be a homer this season, but I truly think the Eagles are.
I'm
winning this
not
game.
either, but I agree, Ben. I'm not being a homer either, but I agree. I think they'll win this game.
Gabe?
This is a tough one.
It
I
is.
think the Buccaneers are due for a good week, but
Yeah.
in the most Eagles fashion possible, I think that they'll like score less points but somehow win the game. Just because that's how it always seems
That,
to work.
that 100-yard
This
penalty.
game is probably going to go to
right?
overtime, and we're going to win on a.
That's why,
Allen.
Gabe, if you ever see the post, Gabe, on like Barstool Philly, where it shows the Eagles logo and it's like the little line, and then it goes down and then up, and then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, nice, we
Yep.
won. That's what happens.
Gabe, if you think about it this way, if the Giants win and the Eagles lose, we're tied for first.
We are. Well, no, we need Washington to lose as well.
True.
Yeah. I'll take the Eagles in this one. I just think
Wow.
it's the most Eagles thing possible. They're gonna go to overtime. Tampa Bay is gonna score first, score a touchdown. The refs are gonna forget the new overtime rules, and for whatever reason, think that they get another chance. The Eagles are gonna score a touchdown, convert the 2-point conversion, and win the game.
Yeah.
I have a comment to make real quick.
Go for it.
Shout out to my favorite pitcher of all time, Taijuan Walker. He's given up 3 earned runs in a third of an inning. Shout out. Big shout out.
Taiwan Walker and Bryce Hall are the same
Um,
people to their teams.
I got 2 questions for the Eagles fans before I make my decision.
No point to even ask the
Number-
question. We know you're picking the Bucks.
No. Actually, this will change my decision. Number 1 is Lane Johnson playing.
Probably not.
Okay.
But
good
his
question.
replacement was awesome last week.
Number-
He was one of the
yeah,
highest
true.
rated tackles on
True.
PFF.
Number 2 is Devonta Smith playing.
Yes. I think so. I have to hold on.
Yeah.
We
To
recorded
go
the day
back
before.
while Ben pulls it up, to go back real quick. I want to give a quick shout out to Fred Johnson. If you look on the website, because you guys watch our episodes and for some reason don't look at the website that I put all this effort into. I wrote an article the beginning of the year, which was top 3 Eagles breakout candidates, and Fred Johnson's name was on there. I called it. I said him, Zach Bowen, and Mekhi Becton. Give my
Wow.
boy his credit.
Yeah.
Give my boy his credit. I said Zach Bowen was going to be a dog too. Give him his credit.
True.
Number 1 in the league in tackles.
Ben.
All right, Ben, is he
what's-
going to be back?
yeah.
Yes or no?
I'm still trying to find.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
All right, we'll hold
but
you
I
off.
think-
Make your decision.
Here's
Jake,
the thing.
Jalen Hurts is playing, if that affects you.
that's
So
great. Yeah, it does.
The big news
actually.
of the week is Britton Covey was placed on IR. So,
Ooh,
but
that's
right
your
now,
like number
AJ
2
Brown,
targeted receiver.
AJ Brown, Lane Johnson, Devontae Smith, and Mekhi Becton are all questionable.
Oh, that's a lot.
Mekhi
Mekhi
Becton's fine.
Becton will probably play.
Obviously, it seems like
I'm not worried about the offensive line though. We have really good depth there.
I know I hate the
agree.
Eagles a lot, and it seems like I'm always picking against them, but that's just because I genuinely think, like, I don't hate pick them at all. I genuinely think they're going to lose. And with their secondary, even though their secondary did do well last year, or not last year, last game, I still think it's the weakness of the team. And the Bucks passed the ball. I'm going with the Bucks.
We knew that was going to happen anyways. We knew you were going to pick the Buccaneers
Yeah.
anyways. Next up, we got the Niners and the Patriots. Consensus, Niners.
Bang bang Niner gang.
Yes, sir.
Don't ever say that again, Ben. Don't ever say that again.
I love that. Can we clip that?
yeah,
Don't ever
yeah,
say it. Yeah,
Instagram,
clip him, please.
Instagram, going on.
Instagram, Jake, I want you to make a post and edit it and make that into a video and attach a Trent Williams jersey to Ben's chest wearing a
What?
wearing a
Okay.
Niners hat.
And then I'll make it an audio so other people can use it as an audio.
Perfect. Thank you.
My
Appreciate
God.
it. Best Instagram manager out there.
Dude, imagine
Um,
that's the one that goes viral. Is just me
Yeah.
saying bang.
Well, I
bang.
was hoping that I was hoping Chris versus Bryce Huff would go viral, and it did well.
It did.
Yeah. Next game, we got the Commanders Cardinals. Rookies fighting it out. Listen,
wow.
listen. I didn't give my boy his flowers this past week, but I'm giving it to him this week. Jaden, I'm riding with you, buddy. Let's roll. Let's
The
roll.
real question is for me, do the Cardinals have a fan chant? Because if they do, I don't know what it is.
I doubt it.
And-
I don't
and
think we
yeah.
even have one really.
Marv, I don't know.
Marv.
Did we?
Marv.
I guess, like,
Marv.
with-
Maserati
Marv.
Marv. I'm
Approved,
going with
like-
Maserati. I'm going with Maserati Marv.
Wow, a lot of clips
And
for you,
the
huh? Ben?
Arizona Cardinals. Let's go.
Have fun. I'll take Jaden any day of the week.
Jake, we don't really have a chant, do we? I mean, like, I guess Malik Neighbors, we had like the Victor Cruz.
Listen,
but, like,
listen.
we
Leave
don't
me
have, like,
on
a
an
team
island. Leave me
That's
on
our
an
first
island
one.
since you two both
For a
hate the
while.
Commanders. Like, desperately hate.
I
the
really
Commanders.
don't
Leave me
care
on an
about the
island.
Commanders. They're usually lowest in the rankings. They're usually the worst team in the
All right,
division.
then take your picks.
I'm taking the Cardinals though. I think they're just a better team. I think people are overrating the Commanders due to
All right.
one game
Jake.
and unlucky win against us.
When in doubt, vote against Ben. But I'm gonna pick the better team here, and I just think the Cardinals are a better team.
All
Why-
right, I'll stay on an island.
He said that 3 times, and 2 of the 3 times he picked the team I picked.
I'll
I'll stay
want
on
that
an
to
Just say that
island.
every single
I'll
day.
stay
You're
on
making
an
the right
island.
decision. You're making the right
Next
decision. What can I
game-
say?
Next game, we
Oh.
have the Chiefs Chargers, or the next like 2 games should be a consensus. We got the Chiefs and the Chargers. I'm gonna take the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Chiefs.
Chiefs. Yeah.
All right,
Chiefs.
and the next game we have the Browns and the Raiders, and I
This
don't
is-
think the Browns lose
this is the game of the
another
week, bro.
game.
This is
I
the
don't think the
hardest game.
Browns lose another game, so I'm
This
gonna
is
take the Browns.
This is the only game I went into this week, and I was like, I don't know who I'm picking because
No,
I'm
I
not
don't
so-
think
I'm not
the
so sure
Browns.
about
I don't think the
Cleveland.
Browns lose another
both
game.
these teams stink. They
Yeah,
stink.
they do
I don't
not
think
look
they
good
lose
against
to
us
the
at all.
Raiders. I don't think they lose to the Raiders.
So I'm just gonna pick the Raiders at home. That's the only reason.
Okay.
Alright.
They're both garbage. So like
I think the Browns win that. Gabe.
The amount of times that I've sided with Ben is kind of concerning, but I'm gonna have to go to the Raiders. I just don't like what I saw from the
Oh,
Browns
my
Ben's
last week.
record
Okay.
is gonna
Guys, I'm not gonna lie.
Gabe's record's gonna collapse this week.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
This is
no, it's not good.
Do you know whose record's gonna collapse this week? You, Chris, because you're on another island. This could be either really good or really bad for you. Because think about it this way: the Giants had 9 sacks against that offensive line and on Deshaun Watson. And the Raiders arguably have a similar type defensive line with Max
They don't have
Crosby.
any good
and
pass
I'm
Christian
rushers,
fine
do
with
they?
it. I'm
They have
fine
Max
with
Crosby.
They
it.
don't have any good pass rushers,
They have
right?
They have Max Crosby.
Yeah.
So
I'm
honestly,
fine with it.
I think
bro.
if Jameis Winston gets in this game, I think the Browns win. But as long as Watson's in the game, the Raiders are going to win.
I'm fine with it. I'll stay on my island. Next up, we got Bills Ravens, and
This is a tough one, I feel
unfortunately, the Bills winning streak is gonna come to a close.
Ooh,
I'm gonna take the Ravens here. I'm gonna
I
take
think
the
this is a
Ravens
really
here.
tough one.
It is tough. It is tough because I really doubted the Bills this year with all the guys that they lost. Somehow they found a way to overcome and beat up on the teams that I picked. But I think the Ravens beat them and end their win streak. I think it makes more than most sense.
Yeah, I gotta go with the Ravens.
It's just good that he doesn't pick anyway because we could just skip it.
Oh, did I freeze? Did I
yeah.
freeze?
Ravens.
You
Uh,
heard Ravens though.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
what's your
Yeah, I'm
explanation
going with the
for it?
Ravens. A quick explanation is I think the Ravens have played really well this season. They just have struggled in the the fourth quarter, basically. I think they start to get that figured out. They have a good coach, so I think they'll be able to figure that out. And honestly, I know the Bills have been really good, but I still don't trust them. I don't know. I don't know if I'm just trying to pray that my preseason prediction is still right about them. Doesn't look like it's going to be, but I'm going.
He's going with the Ravens. We understand. Gabe,
Go with the Ravens.
This is a really tough one. We got both of you guys going with the Ravens.
Do you want to try to get ahead?
I don't think any of us think that the Bills are really good enough to be a 4-0 team, right? Just talent wise, but they played so well up to this point. I think I'm going to take the Bills.
all right.
I think the Ravens are a very good team, much better than a record, obviously, but I'm sticking with Buffalo.
I said this 3 times before. When in doubt, go against Ben, and I'm actually gonna stick to it this time. It just makes sense that the Bills. Everybody
Wait.
thought
I think you should amend it. I think you should amend that. When in doubt, go against Ben 50% of the time.
Yeah. Okay. So when in doubt, go against Ben 50% of the time because it's just a Bills thing to me that like they go 4-0 when they weren't expected to be good, and they're also running the ball finally, and it's helping them. So I'm just gonna go Bills and
Matabuke is gonna have a monster game.
Yeah, true.
Wait.
Next up,
Wait. Can you make sure you save a certain game for last? Make sure you save a certain game for last.
well, there's 2
one?
games left.
Yeah,
There's
which
2
one?
games
Which
left.
one do you want to go
Well,
next?
you know which
Yeah,
game
just look at
needs
the
to be
teams
saved
and then
for
relate it
last.
to
All
Ben.
right, whatever.
Yeah,
Fine,
we'll
fine.
save
Go
that
go
one
next.
last.
Yeah, go next. Go next.
Lions, Seahawks. I'm taking the Lions in this one. The Lions are looking
Lions.
good. Seahawks are looking good, but I think the Lions will win this game.
Yeah.
It's tough though.
I'm making the safe pick on this one. I'm going Lions, although
Finally.
the Seahawks.
I don't think the
Seahawks
Seahawks
defense has been awesome.
4-0.
The Seahawks
Yeah.
defense
They've
has
been
been
great.
really good.
Byron Murphy's
Tyreek Woolen is having a great year
nasty.
again.
All right.
I'm making this
Gabe, Jake?
consensus, I think, right?
Consensus. Yeah, this is a
Yeah.
consensus. I
All
love
right.
the Lions.
All right.
And our last game, we have the Titans and the Dolphins.
It's time to
And
stand up. It's time to tighten up. Let's go, Titans. Let's go.
Ben, how
Let's
many
go.
times have you picked them? How many times
All
have you picked
4
them?
weeks, baby.
all right. Listen,
I'm not
before
picking-
I
I
make
can't
my
pick them.
pick, before I
It's
make
going-
my pick, before I
it's
make
gonna
my
be
pick,
good.
is Huntley playing?
He's
Look,
questioned. He's in the race to start. They said, but they really don't have a lot
Wait,
of information there.
here's
My
what
guess
I
is
wanna
that if
tell
he's
you.
in the race, that he's probably going to start. That's
The
my guess.
Titans aren't losing every game this year, so eventually I will get this
Ben.
right, and you guys will all be wrong.
Ben, if you remember this far into the episode,
My only thing is I would pick him
you
if
just edit
Huntley
Will
started.
Levis's
but-
face over me going like this. If you
I'll
remember.
try. I'll try my best.
Gabe, can you make your pick before I make mine?
Sure. I think this is going to be the best football game of all time, honestly. And this is just going to be like amazing to watch. Like, there's no
Sunday
doubt
Night Football.
the
It's
Lions,
Sunday Night
the
Football.
Lions and Seahawks will have a good game, but there's no doubt what I'm turning on. I just want to see the worst football game ever played. And I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins. Hopefully, if they go Skylar Thompson, that would be
That's my
amazing.
only thing. If
Chef's kiss.
Skylar Thompson plays, I don't know if they could win. If Huntley plays,
No. If,
they could win.
so they said Huntley is in the race. My guess is that he's probably just taking time to learn the playbook, right? I mean, like he just got picked
Yeah,
up.
you know what?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm second guessing this. I'm picking the Dolphins.
Whoa. Okay.
Tighten up,
here's
boys.
the thing,
Tighten
though.
up.
If Tyler Huntley plays, you guys remember when Baker Mayfield played for the Rams and won the game? Like that was awesome.
Yep.
So does Tyler Huntley do the same thing?
Yes.
I'm gonna go back to what I've been saying all day. When in doubt,
Tighten
pick
up.
against Ben, but about 40% of the time because I'm going with the Titans this week. I'm
Tighten
surprised
up,
about
baby.
it.
Tighten up. Let's go.
And the thing is, Will Levis this year turned over the ball twice every single game, and he's become the funniest meme player in the NFL because of it.
All right.
But I think he does that again, but I don't think the Dolphins can score.
All right. You know what else is going to be great? When I win all 3 games where I'm on an island, that's going to be hilarious.
Chris, I'm telling
That's
you right
going to be
now,
so much fun.
you're either going to be so far ahead in first or so far down in last.
You might be below.
No, well,
like
he'll still be ahead of me, but
No,
I
well,
don't know
not
if
if
you
you.
will. There's
Ben, if you
there's
go
potential,
undefeated,
I mean,
if you go undefeated, Ben.
yeah, if I go undefeated, like that's gonna.
All right.
all you got to do is go undefeated.
Yeah.
That'll be it though for today's episode. So you guys know how it is. Stay hyped, stay hungry, keep the frenzy alive, and we'll see you on the next one.